All right, I wanted to put this up front in the video because I'm going to quit posting on That Cybersecurity Guy, my geopolitical videos. I have a new channel on YouTube. It's called the Florida Man News Network. That's Florida MNN, nice, simple, short. Florida MNN. Please subscribe there and can start watching the videos there for the next, month or so. I'll continue to post both places. But after that, it's just going to be the Florida Man News Network. See you there. There he is, the boss dog. The old battle axe brought him by, gave him to me. I'm walking the main boulevard in my neighborhood because the weather forecast is for rain and then continued rain. And remember George Carlin, the weather will continue to change, but nothing but rain for the next 7 days. All right, let's get into the video. Watching the world burn, watching the world burn. July 14th, 2025. Let's get into it. Wasn't that a great video up front? Transformers, you know, one of the things that Transformers, and maybe they did cover it, well, where did the, by the way, apologize for the car noise. Where did the Transformers actually come from? I wonder if AI created the Transformers. You know, and that because a lot of people say that the reason there's very little life left in the universe is because once a civilization reaches a certain technological level, that they end up exterminating themselves. And damn if we ain't on the brink of exterminating ourselves. but it would be cool if AI could take over after us. But the problem is, I don't know how AI takes over without a power source. Now, if you could train AI to make its own power source, I guess that would accomplish the job. Anyway, the Grok 4 is out. I don't know if you knew, and it described Israel as a parasite that controls America. And that was from Global Updates. I'll put the link above. And I just thought that, you know, that's when you know an AI it hasn't been programmed by leftist lunatics. Let's wait for this vehicle to get by. Just wanted to get the first video out of the way. I got some pushback. Can't get the dog moving here. We got some pushback on me calling Pam Bondi a deep state operative. Maybe I should have rephrased that. A deep state operative unwittingly or wittingly. Wasn't it Clapper that said something like that? That guy that should be in jail? Anyway, but, you know, the other thing is she could just be dumber than a bag of stones. That's what Megyn Kelly talked about. Now, this was up on, if you want to watch the whole thing, Benny Johnson put this up on his channel. But we're just going to take a few clips from Megyn Kelly riffing on Pam Bondi, because she says it better than I probably ever could. No way that woman should be the Attorney General, that's for damn sure. Let's watch that now.
Focused on, I just don't think this has captured his attention quite yet. But it needs to, because it's starting to create a real hornet's nest within the administration. And I've got to be honest, I blame Pam Bondi. I'll tell you why, okay? I have nothing, yes, incompetence, yes. I I have nothing against Pam Bondi as a human being. I was fine with her nomination and her confirmation, and she's been loyal to the president, and I get that President Trump needs a loyal attorney general. Look what happened with Sessions the first time. He went away, and then the next thing you know, we had the Mueller investigation, and it was a nightmare. But there are a lot of other people who can be loyal and competent in that job. Here, she is the reason that things are unraveling around this story right now that virtually all of the Republican Party cares deeply about. It's also true that Dan Bongino and Kash Patel had questions about Epstein before they took office, okay, before they went into the FBI. But once they joined the FBI, they said nothing. They've kept their mouths shut about Epstein. You have not seen them, except for one joint appearance with Dan and Kash on Fox, running all over the media looking for attention on this, yes, clickbaity story. Who have you seen? Pam Bondi. She has never missed an opportunity to go on television and dangle sweet nothings that might be coming your way. Try to lead you to believe that she's got it. It's on her desk. It's coming tomorrow. You're going to see something on Epstein. And it was a tease. So you either believe that Pam Bondi was telling the truth then or that she's telling the truth now. But both cannot be true. She was either lying when she went on Fox News all those times saying, I've got it, we're looking at it, wait until you see it, it's horrible. Or she's lying in her 2-page memo that they released on a Sunday night at the tail end of a holiday weekend to Axios, as if Axios is where we all go for our news. Hell no. She went to someone she knew would not kick the tires on the story, and without signing the memo, dropped it in the dead of night and said, that's it, take the crumbs and be happy. Refused to come out and give a presser, and give a press conference, stand there for 6 hours to the point where people are dying of boredom. They've asked all their questions. That's how you put a scandal to rest. But she wouldn't even sign her name to it. And I'm telling you, I have dollars to donuts. It's going to come out that there was internal consternation over that memo and whose name did and did not go on it and who it was and was not behind it. And so now you have a situation where her words on the record on Fox News are diametrically opposed to what she put in this memo. She's embarrassed the president. She's embarrassed herself. And Dan and Kash, to the extent they've had to sign off on that, let's understand the FBI is controlled by the DOJ. The FBI is subservient to DOJ. She's their boss. That they're in this position where the only comments they've made on the record as administration officials have been, we don't think he killed himself, and we don't think he got murdered. We think he did kill himself. We've looked at the tapes, and Kash to Joe Rogan saying, if I saw all these tapes of Jeffrey Epstein with little girls, trust me, I would show you, but I haven't seen it. Okay, so what they're saying now is consistent with what they've said since they joined the office, and that is one of the many reasons why this scandal is squarely on her, and I'm telling you, I'm of the cable news universe. I've seen it happen a million times. People get thirsty. They love to see themselves on television. They love to see their names in the Klieg lights. They love the attention. They love the little emails and texts and tweets and thumbs up they get after their appearance, and they can feel their star rising. And listen, internally, I'm told there's a bit of like a power struggle between Pam Bondi and another female administration official on who's going to be the top dog. You know, we've got a great bench behind President Trump. We've got JD. We've got Marco. You know, we've got Hegseth. We've got a lot of people who could potentially be next up. But there are some women who've got their eye on that role too. And I've been
maybe
told
one of them
she's
speaking at this event.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
I'm too heavy a person.
No, I know. I was talking about someone tomorrow, so that might be speaking at this
Oh,
event.
yeah.
But,
Okay.
but Megan, you make a very astute point, and let me add to it, which is that she also brought in some of our best influencers, people that I care about deeply. Jack Posobiec, who's incredible. Libs of TikTok, Chaya. DC Drano.
Yeah.
And she gave them these binders and she humiliated them.
Yeah.
And you guys know what I'm talking about? Where she like did this stuff with the binders?
This?
And
Yes.
you guys were upset, but you shouldn't be upset at the influencers. They were handed these binders like there was something incredible in them.
It is what you would do to an enemy. It would have been a brilliant operation had she loathed them and been looking to undermine them. The trick would have been perfect had this been Joe Biden's White House doing this to some of President Trump's most loyal supporters and media advocates. What happened was they invited all of them there to say hi to the vice president, to say hi to the president. Sure, they all went, of course. Who wouldn't go? To the White House to say hello to Trump? They didn't expect anything on Epstein. So they went, they said hello, and before they knew it, they were pulled into a room with Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, and she had made the binders. She bragged about making the cover sheet that read Epstein Files, Phase 1, and she handed them out. And what Liz Wheeler, who was there, told me was that she told them, there's not that much in here, but like another trove is coming. I'm gonna get it from the FBI, but like, here's Phase 1. Flash forward 14 hours earlier to when she was on with Jesse Waters on Fox News saying, oh, you're gonna see some Epstein documents tomorrow. She knew they were bullshit. She knew that there was nothing in there. She told the influencers when she gave it to them, there's really nothing in here. I'm gonna try to get you more. And in the meantime, then they funneled them out the back of the White House where all the press corps was. And the influencers are standing there with these binders. They didn't even know they were there for Epstein, and they looked foolish through no fault of their own. The only fault was they trusted her.
And these are some of our best people that we should have their back. Liz Wheeler's amazing, Jack Posobiec.
Yes.
And they got...
She dinged their credibility for no reason.
100%. And did they ever get an apology for that?
No, and the only way of making it up, trust me, as somebody in the media who relies on sources, the only way she could have made up for this enormous error, and truly to this day, if you believe she knew there was nothing in there, then I don't know why she did it. She just did it to make them look like fools for fun of it. But the only way she could have made up for it was to give them a scoop. That's the only way of fixing it. When you have the scoop, when you do get the second tranche, you've got to leak something to them. You've got to let them break something. She never did, but she continued to tout that she had something. She was going to get that FBI file. Then she got caught by James O'Keefe on hidden camera saying she had tens of thousands of videos of Epstein and little children. It was like, what? Well, we never heard that. We heard he was into the barely legal type, the like 18-year-olds who look 14, but we didn't hear about children. And then because she was caught once again shooting off her mouth inappropriately, attorneys general of the United States normally say nothing. They say nothing.
Merrick Garland had one press conference a year.
Yes, nothing. Bill Barr, you can get him to speak or say anything. Even Eric Holder was less chatty than this. So she got caught on camera, and she decided to cover up the James O'Keefe slip by then running to a real camera and being like, there are tens of thousands of videos of the children, and I'm announcing it all. So once again, she didn't give that to the influencers, and then she slides it into this memo.
So I have a dumb question. Maybe it's not dumb. So so she had doubled down on the videos. Is that correct, Megan?
Yes, now she's tripled down.
Epstein was not the perp in every one of those videos.
So because they've been so ambiguous,
no, but like,
we're
let's
not
just
sure.
think about this. Unless we're led to believe that Epstein himself personally raped all these kids, children, or whatever, then isn't the statute of limitations on child rape like basically infinite?
Well,
so then why are we not indicting the people that were doing the raping that we have on video? Like, what's that all about?
Yeah.
No, you know this better than I do. So Epstein's dead. He's met his hopefully eternal fire where he deserves in the pit of hell. But if it's true, the Attorney General of the United States said, just remind me, we have thousands of videos.
She said that we've got thousands of videos showing child pornography.
And she doubled down on that. So
tripled.
So you have to infer Jeffrey Epstein was not the only person involved in that.
Well, no, let me tell you what I've gleaned, but since she's been so ambiguous, take it with a grain of salt, okay? She won't have a presser. She won't give an interview. She won't answer any hard questions. All we get is the unsigned paper memo, 2 pages to Axios, who won't ask any questions. So what I think she's saying is that she's found, allegedly, tens of thousands of screen grabs of child pornography. They call it child sexual abuse material now. It's C-SCAN. And that's what she says they found on his hard drives, like he was into this form of porn, like off the internet. But separately, they say he had at least 1,000 victims, of his.
No, okay, but 1,000 victims, unless we are to believe he personally was after every one of those victims, there has to be some other bad guys still alive that are powerful that did something to these children. Why are we not impaneling a special prosecutor to find every single one of these powerful people that went after these kids? Why are we putting up with this?
Yeah, I don't know. And I think you'll find out.
Am I understanding this correctly? Because I don't even remember.
I can't answer that.
I don't
because
even
she
know
won't tell
Pam
us.
Bondi said that. I can't even remember all this because it's all over. I got a thing on my desk. I got truckloads of stuff.
Yeah, no, we all have busy lives, and President Trump has a busy life, and I don't think he realizes how much she's humiliated the administration. This is a self-inflicted wound. She caused it. Again, I have nothing against Pam Bondi, but if you want to look for the villain in this story, we have found her. She is the person she's either lying now or she was lying then. There's no two ways about it. And if you accept what's in the memo, that they don't have the goods on anybody, there's no one who can be indicted, they didn't find a trove of info on other people, then why was she trying to titillate us over a child sexual abuse case for months? She was on the air repeatedly in February, in March, again in May. It's completely inappropriate. You don't play cutesy with child sexual abuse material.
So Megan, I don't mean to interrupt. I mean, first of all, you're totally right, but you know the media, you've been around the space of like hyper ambitious women. What is this?
All right, wasn't that great? So now we're going to get into, we got to always do some Democrat bashing up front. Now that I've bashed Pam Bondi. This is Lindy Lee talking about how Democrats called her racist. I've told you the story many times about my sister-in-law came over and called me a white racist. I guess I just go out and, when I see a black person, I call them the ninja word or something. I don't know what the hell she's talking about. My leaders in the military were black, You think I cared? I just wanted them to keep me alive. Anyway, let's watch Lindy Lee now.
They didn't consider me American. This party of diversity, they didn't think I was American. Like, for them, I was AANHPI. That is how they labeled me when I was in the party. And what does that stand for? You have no idea, right? Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander. I'm from the frickin' United Kingdom. Tell me why they forced this down my throat. They are so big on identity politics, and I think that's almost the essence of their disease. They celebrate diversity, but in so doing, they were actually sowing division in our republic. And it's just so toxic. And by the way, the people who are most racist towards me right now aren't the Republicans, the vast majority of whom have been incredibly warm and welcoming towards me. The people who are now calling me a Chinese spy, by the way, the Chinese government, as I mentioned, killed my great-grandfather. You think I'm going to be spying for them? Those fucking douchebags? Am I allowed to curse on here? But honestly, the Democrats are now saying we should deport her to China. I'm an American citizen, thank you very much. Where are you going to deport me to? Philadelphia, my home? So something's got to change, because right now, guess what? The Democratic Party is at a 19% approval rating. And as you alluded to, there's also dissension within the ranks, within the MAGA ranks. But I think, once Trump gets the trade deals figured out, apparently there are a number of trade deals down the pipeline. As soon as he irons out the Iran-Israel situation, the Israel-Gaza situation, as soon as interest rates come down, I think his momentum is going to be hard to stop going into the midterms. I actually already committed to fundraise for him for free, because it is so pivotal that we don't go back. We cannot go back to the progressive tyranny that we saw under the Biden administration.
That was fantastic, wasn't it? Oh my goodness gracious. So let's do some commentary before we get into the next video. I wanted to talk about how the MAGA movement is pretty much over at this point. When Trump bombed Iran, and also when he continued to funnel weapons to the Great Satan, as many people are calling him now, Israel, for the genocide in Gaza, he lost Wisconsin and he lost Michigan. So those are Democrat, because see, you got to remember what got Trump over the top on both of those states was there was a lot of Muslims that defected to the Trump America First movement because Biden was supporting Israel against the Palestinians. And they were hoping that Trump would come through for them in some kind of way. That whole voting bloc is gone. You've also got the youth vote there's a lot of youth vote that went into the MAGA campaign, and they're very much against the genocide in Gaza. And so Trump has lost that vote as well. So that's 2 entire voting blocks. Now, if you listen to Steve Bannon, he's saying we're going to have about a 35-seat turnover in the House and that we'll lose the Senate. I'm sorry to see that, but Trump has made a lot of mistakes. I mean, when he bombed Iran, that was it for Michigan, and that's it for Wisconsin. No way we get those back, and we've lost the youth vote at this point unless he can win them back. And, of course, you've got the whole Epstein fiasco. And, you know, a lot of Trump shrills are out there talking about that, you know, like, oh, you know, what if everything's destroyed? Well, it probably has been. What if the Democrats doctored it? Yeah, they probably did. Okay? But trust in the American people. Look at what happened when they released that video about the jail cell. There were a lot of smart people that took that video apart. They realized that 1 minute was missing, and they realized it was just a video of the corridor and not of Epstein's cell. I mean, that analysis happened within weeks. You think that if he would release whatever they got and just say, look, we're going to release what we got, but we feel that this is not valid information, and we feel it's been doctored by the Democrats, but you, the American people, you take a look at it and you decide. You know, I want an analysis. Now, the other thing that people have recommended is he put together a special counsel, you know, like the Mueller investigation. Hell, I'd like to see Tulsi Gabbard hit it up. In fact, before we get into that, let's watch Tulsi Gabbard at Turning Point USA. Now, if you want to know why I'm such a Tulsi Gabbard fan, just watch this video.
The road ahead will not be easy. I can attest personally that in my work as the Director of National Intelligence, the deep state is fighting us every step of the way. And it exists within every single federal agency. And so I feel the same frustration that I see many of you expressing on X or in different platforms about why aren't things going faster? Why aren't we getting results more quickly? I feel this frustration every single day. We are pushing hard. Know that they are pushing hard back. It's okay. We're not going anywhere. We're here to fight for you and to fight for the red, white, and blue that's behind you. We can't do this alone. It will take all of us who love our country and who deeply cherish our freedoms to stand united in this fight. It's going to come with hardship and sacrifice. As you know, it comes with name calling and smears and lies and attacks. But here's the beautiful thing, is the harder they push back, the more smears and lies that are published in the Washington Post and the New York Times and the Atlantic and many others, the more we know that we are exactly on the target.
Wasn't that amazing? I tell you what, she is one sharp cookie, and she seems to really, really love the United States. And I dare say that she could bring back the MAGA movement just by herself. If Trump would put her in charge of a special investigation and get this whole Epstein nonsense behind us, and let her, basically call in anybody that was associated with Epstein. Let's call in Big Bill Gates. Let's call in Clinton. Let's call in, let her give her subpoena power over everything. And of course, I know that right now she's in charge of, the Director of National Intelligence. So maybe she wouldn't be the best choice, but there are other people that she could recommend. And as long as they have the recommend of Tulsi Gabbard, and that way, even if the investigation is still going on in the midterms, everybody's going to be happy. Because they're going to feel like, hey, at least the government's trying to be transparent on this whole damn thing. That'll put that whole mess behind us. I'm just saying. Anyway, we're going to continue with the video. I got a good post here. Oh, damn it. Hold on. All right, I don't know what happened there. The phone timed out. So let's get into my reading here. As you know, we've basically messed up every engagement that we've had in the world. You know, look at the pullout from Afghanistan. I've talked about Vietnam, Korea. I mean, you name it. Everything the CIA touches turns to shit. And as Trump wants to say, everything they touch turns to shit. I don't even know why we have a CIA. It seems like they're the most incompetent, stupid, corrupt, evil, lying bastages that ever existed on the planet. But anyway, I wanted to go back in history and just talk about some things from the West. So this is a post by Che Bowles, and I found this very informative. It says, in 1916, the British and French secretly conspired to split the possessions of the Ottoman Empire between them, and did so. In 1935, the British, French, and Italians secretly agreed to the Horse, H-O-A-R-E, Laval Pact, to allow Italy's fascist leader to invade Ethiopia, and they did so. In 1953, the British and Americans secretly conspired to overturn the democratic government of Iran, and did so. In 1953, the British also sent forces to crush the democratically elected government of British Guiana, and they did so. In 1953, the British and Americans overthrew the legitimate government of Guatemala, and they did so. In 1956, the British secretly conspired to overthrow the nationalist government of Syria. And of course, that has been done recently. Let's talk about Syria before I continue with this post. Right now in Syria, ISIS is back. They're beheading Christians. Of course, the Christians in the United States don't really care. You know, they just go to church and say, you know, did you bake a pie, Emily? Oh, that's such a pretty pie. What about the children at the orphanage? Did you take them some food? Oh, yes, we did. Oh, but, you know, you won't hear the conversation. Did you hear what's going on in Syria? Oh, my God, they're killing Christians. And they're kidnapping their wives and daughters as sex slaves. Oh, my God. Maybe we should do something like, you know, write our representative or our congressman and say, you know, maybe we shouldn't be acknowledging the government of Syria. What do you think, Emily? I don't know, Pam. I don't know, Pam. Maybe that's, you know, anyway, that's wouldn't that be nice if one Christian woman or a Christian church would just say something politically and say, look, you know, Trump, you shouldn't be acknowledging a bunch of terrorists in charge of the so-called Syrian government that are beheading Christians, raping their wives and daughters and turning them into sex slaves. Huh? What do you think? I don't know. That's why I got off on the tangent on Syria. And of course, destroying all the Christian artifacts. You know, all that history's been erased, and basically by the Israelis, okay? So maybe they should learn a little bit about before the world as they go to church. You know, that's why I can't stand to be around Christians. They're the most ignorant people on the planet. All right, so let's keep going. When I say I can't stand, I enjoy being around Christians, don't get me wrong. It's Democrats I can't stand to be around. But I just can't stand the ignorance. Let's just put it that way. I put that in the wrong fashion. All right, so let's keep going. So in 1956, the British, French, and the Israelis secretly conspired to invade Egypt and seize control of the Suez Canal. And they did so. The British, Americans, and French conspired to overthrow dozens of other legitimate democratic governments across the globe, leaving hundreds of thousands dead and democracy shattered. They are the secret architects of the Ukrainian conflict, the war in Syria, the destruction of Libya and Iraq, and the destabilization of Taiwan. The British alone involved in 42, got to get out of the sunlight, I can't see it, separate illegal coups since 1945. Also funding pro-British terror squads to execute Irish Catholic civilians in my country. The Che's obviously British. Remember this the next time they tell you Russia, Iran, and China are the enemies of your freedom. Now, his point being is that we've done far more damage to the world in the West than Russia. I mean, you got to understand, Russia, you know, well, the Soviet Union, you could say they invaded Afghanistan, but way back in the day. Of course, we did too. But for the most part, Russia has just been attacked. The Germans attacked Russia, you know, way back. I mean, you could go back through hundreds of years of history. Why do you think they didn't want NATO in Ukraine? And that's what brought about the war. I mean, because Russia said nit means nit, no means no. Okay, and NATO kept pushing. Well, Russia, if you're not gonna allow NATO in Ukraine, then put your money where your mouth is. Well, guess what they did? At the sacrifice of 300,000 of their people, and probably 1.8 million Ukrainians now. Anyway, I had another video. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene. I tell you what, the Republican women in Congress, they're good looking as hell, aren't they? I mean, I think Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's hot, man, and so is a couple of the other ones. Bobbitt, isn't that their name? Anyway, I get off on a tangent, but they're hot and smart, and that's what gets me. I mean, the Democrat women, I mean, look at Pelosi. That is one ugly woman, man. Oh my God. And what is some of the other? Well, AOC's kind of hot. I mean, I remember when Elon Musk used to troll her with the pictures of him in AOC. Anyway, let's watch that video from Marjorie Taylor Greene now, and then as I think of some more, we'll continue making some clips. You know, I got to kind of break these up to make sure that the camera doesn't overheat. Plus, I want to check on the dog and get him watered. All right, we'll get back to the video in a minute.
America is the greatest country in the world, and I fight the nasty America Last Democrats in Washington to keep it that way. I fight against gun control, open borders, the trans agenda, coming for your kids, and women's sports. And I blow away the reckless government spending on my DOJ subcommittee. Under Joe Biden, Democrats gave away trillions to illegal aliens, the Green New Scam, and their NGO deep state friends to destroy our country. But America elected Donald Trump, and now I'm working by his side to make America great again. And we are fighting to protect our faith, families, and freedom. So in honor of America's 250th anniversary, I'm giving away my M249 Saw Para to one lucky American patriot. Why enter to win this gun? Because in America, you can. And I'll always fight for your right to keep and bear arms. Go to the website below and enter to win my M249 Saw Para and join me in wishing America a happy 250th anniversary.
All right, we'll finish off the video with two more brief videos. If you didn't know, Russia is launching, good Lord, between 500 to 1,000 drones, along with Iskander missiles and everything else in Ukraine. I think they're trying to finish the war off fast. And that's where I want to compliment Trump. His bone-crushing Lindsey Graham sanctions won't take place for 50 days. I'm not sure Ukraine's going to be around in 50 days, so maybe Trump's trying to be, I'm hoping I'm giving him credit for being strategic there, because he's got to satisfy the neocons in his administration and the Zionists. You know, they're very important, so he has to keep that part of his administration satisfied. And, you know, saying he's going to do things in 50 days, hopefully that'll get him off his back so he can work on other things that are more important, like America first, right? So we'll see where that goes. But I did want to hit on a video. This shows you what this is kind of an older video, but it shows you the damage these drones are doing. This is a picture of Kiev after a strike. Let's watch that now. All right, that was pretty intense, wasn't it? And then Putin gave a speech on NATO. Now, I wanted to just give you the history, especially to the young people out there. You know, NATO, back in the day, when I grew up, the Cold War was taking place. And it was the Soviet Union against basically the United States and Europe. And, you know, we formed NATO as a balance to the Warsaw Pact. And so that was it. It was mainly to be a defensive alliance. It wasn't meant to be an offensive alliance. And then, of course, with the breakup of the Soviet Union, there really was no purpose for NATO anymore. But instead, the West turned NATO into an offensive force rather than a defensive force, and used it to bludgeon Russia. They surrounded Russia. They started adopting nations like Lithuania and Finland and Sweden and, you know, you name it. They were adding countries and they were surrounding Russia with NATO. And then, of course, they turned, well, there was a coup that took place in 2014. They turned Ukraine against Russia. And then they threatened to make Ukraine a member of NATO. And they armed Ukraine to the teeth. So you can see where Russia was looking at this going like, it'd be like Russia surrounding the United States. Let's say that Russia, you know, the Warsaw Pact still existed and they took Canada and they took Mexico and they took Guatemala, you know, and they made them all part. They took Cuba and made it part of the Warsaw Pact, and they continued just pushing and pushing against the United States. Eventually you got to do something about it. So, but anyway, let's watch the video from Putin talking about that. We'll watch that right now.
НАТО создавалось как инструмент холодной войны в борьбе с Советским Союзом и Варшавским договором, так называемым. Сейчас нет ни Варшавского договора, ни Советского Союза, а НАТО существует. Возникает вопрос, а зачем? Ответ только один. Что бы там ни говорили, это инструмент внешней политики Соединенных Штатов.
All right, so I guess that's it for today's video. I wasn't planning on making a video, but it's a 90% chance of rain right now, and the sky is crystal clear. That's why I say it would be great to be a weatherman in Florida, because imagine a job where you get things wrong, you know, 90% of the time, and yet, you know, you get paid to do it. I mean, I would love that, because, you know, during my computer career, there were certainly some things that I did wrong, but boy, I got held accountable for it. You know, you'd think a weatherman who gets the weather wrong all the time would, somebody'd say, you know, maybe we need a new face in here, a new weatherman. I don't know, just me. Peace out. Stay free.